It is nice to come together in this way. We see it as co-creating at its best. You sometimes don't understand that like we do because you don't know yourself to be both non-physical and physical, even though you are. We said to a group a few days ago, it's like there's you and you. It's the inner being you and there's the physical you, there's you and you. And you think you're just you, but you're not. You're you and you, but not always. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. The greatest value that a conversation like this has for you is that if you can open up to the understanding and then to the actual deliberate experience of merging with that larger non-physical part of you, your life will be so much more than it is when you don't do that. If you know that you are an extension of source energy and that source energy is extending itself to you and through you all the time, when you know that and you deliberately position yourself vibrationally, which is to say emotionally, mood-wise, if you position yourself mood-wise to be fully accepting of and going with the flow of that larger part of you, you are powerful, you're empowered, you're sustained and fulfilled and inspired and guided and steady and sure and happy. But if you get yourself pinched off from that, which is easy to do by sorting out the details of life and seeing those things that you don't want to be that way, and you develop habits of thought, belief patterns of pushing against the unwanted rather than going with the flow of the wanted, then you can spend large amounts of your time not in that empowered, joyful state, which is what you planned when you decided to come. Now, we know you have every reason to pinch yourself off. There are things that are annoying and disturbing and things that are downright unthinkable, can't standable, want to go awayable. So we want to talk just a little bit about some things that you've always known. And in this very brief conversation that we will begin with here today, we want to awaken within you knowledge that you had when you decided to come forth into this physical body. You knew that you were going to focus yourself into this time and space, and you really liked the idea of it because you knew that it would be an opportunity for you to personally do what you do so well as the creator that you are, that you could witness and choose and decide and prefer and select for yourself the aspects of the environment that you want to participate in. And you knew that everyone else would be doing the same thing, and you knew that it was a big enough place and that there were enough of you with your diverse intentions that everyone could create for themselves just a wonderful life experience without stepping on the toes of anyone else. Because you understood then that what makes things come to you as a focuser in a physical body on planet Earth, what makes things come to you is your attention to those things. Now later, now that you've been here for a while, we can say that to you in a way that will be even more meaningful to you now than it was then before you got here. When you say yes to something, that wanted thing comes. And when you say no to something, that unwanted thing comes. Because there's no yes or no in an attraction-based universe. It's just what I'm focusing on is what I'm activating, and what I'm activating is what my receiver is about, and what my receiver is about is what I receive. And so you just can't get around that. And before you got here, you liked the idea of that because you planned on being deliberate with your focus. Once you got here and you got sloppy with your focus, you said, wait. Shouldn't somebody be doing a better job of sorting out what comes to me? And we say, someone should, and it's you. It's you. It's you. And so you knew that you would be very good at kept choosing things that you preferred, and you knew it would continue to change. You knew you would evolve and that your preferences would become more and more, and you know that you are eternal and there would be no ending to it. And so what we want to say to you is, what a wonderful place this is for this phase of your eternally becoming. You're just eternally becoming. And you can tell how well connected you are with your intentions and with that inner part of you. We refer to that as your inner being. Some call it soul or source or even God. That non-physical part of you, you can tell how well you are connecting as you are evolving your way through day after day, how well connected you are to those broader intentions. So just briefly, that non-physical you remains non-physical even though the physical you came here. That's why we were playing with you about you. It's you. And that non-physical part of you is different from you in one very important way. That non-physical you will never sacrifice its knowing of source and of love and of wholeness for anything, while sometimes you do. But that's why you came. You said, I'll go and I'll sift and sort and I'll figure out what I do not want. And simultaneously, I will figure out what I do want. And your inner being said, and we all will stay here. And once you choose, we will give our never-ending, not ever compromised, our not ever messed up, mixed up version like you sometimes do. We will give our unequivocal attention to what you have chosen for now, for now. And when you choose more, we'll give our attention to that. When you choose more, we'll give our attention to that. And you said, and what will be the advantage of me, physical human me, to you doing that? And we said, it will be like guidance for you. It will be a constant reminder of what you have become. For example, when someone was mean to you when you were little and you didn't like it, you asked for nicer. And we said, we will give our undivided attention to that. When you felt pain and wanted comfort, we said, we will give our undivided attention to that. When you didn't have enough of something for sustenance, when your prosperity was not there, and you wanted more, we said, say, we will give our undivided attention to that. And then you said, and what's in that for me? And we said, when we're focused upon what you want and you aren't, you'll feel guidance. You'll feel the disconnection of that. You'll feel the discomfort of that. You'll feel what you've come to call negative emotion. You'll feel ornery, worried, even fearful. You'll feel angry and vengeful. And when you feel anything that feels anything like any of that, you can know that all that means is you chose and we agreed and we focused with you, and then you chose again something that is not in harmony with your internal root, core being. You are a lover. And when you choose not to love, you don't feel so good. That's what makes you so ornery. When you find a way to stay in your clear, pure alignment with who you really are, you feel great. Sounds simplistic, but it's really all there is that you need to know about the difference between you. Because you are the part of this co-creative experience that is causing expansion and asking for more. You come in combinations, like even in this room here. This mix of asking has never been before in all of the universe. And so there is a unique request that is being offered here. And all of your inner beings are focused upon what that request is. And so together here, it is our intention, powerful desire and intention, to help you sort out what it is you want and to offer you some suggestions about how you might go about vibrationally preparing yourself to be the receiver of the things that you want. We're really happy that you're here. There is nothing that is off limits here. Anything that is important to you will be part of this conversation, you will see. There won't be time for everyone to get into the hot seat, but there is knowing of who you are and what you want, and it will be easy for us to find among you those that will present the questions that are most on your mind. And so it is our expectation that you will leave here feeling satisfied that what's been on your mind, the things that you're asking for, you'll feel that you have found a viable avenue to the receiving of all of them, because you're supposed to be or do or have whatever you are choosing. There's no deprivation that was intended when you decided to come, and there's none that is supposed to be going on now. And any deprivation that is happening, you don't know it, but it's self-imposed, and that's hard to hear because it doesn't seem like you would prevent yourself from having what you want. But it's just a misunderstanding of how it is that you're setting yourself up for the receiving or the resistance of the things that you want. So, that's enough laying out the basics. If you can't get up the stage easily, we'll find a way to get a microphone to you if you are someone who has been picked from the group. We're ready to go. Are you? Do you know what you're wanting? All right. What is it you want to talk about today? It's a lot of trouble in this room. This is good. We're not holding you to just those who are saying they're ready now. We will feel all of you. You'll notice as the day unfolds that different things will pique different things in you, and your contribution, whether your words are heard on the microphone or the recording, your contribution is happening. All right? So, I'm going to begin right here. Third row, 1, 2, 3, right here. Yep.
What a comfortable chair.
Yeah.
Well, so much to ask, but mostly to appreciate all the years that you have given all of us so much.
See, that was the point that we were making earlier. You are the askers and the receivers of it, you see. Nothing comes to you in any other way. Yeah.
Well, you can feel the emotion building, but I take a lot of photographs out in nature. And with all the, before I won't forget, please, when you get a moment, to also thank Esther for all her years of her amazing ability to translate.
She's having a good time.
And Jerry, I take it, is here?
Having a good time.
Wonderful. So, with all that I do in photography, I wonder, with all the rampages you've given, perhaps you could give a rampage of appreciation for the awe and wonder of nature and life around us, and how lucky we are to be here on this planet.
Some years ago, a photographer well known for still life unfolding and the sequences of flowers opening and so forth, asked us to come and rampage with him while he showed his things on the background. And it's really an easy thing to do when you're beholding it, isn't it? We want you all to know that there's not a moment in time that you are not being answered, not ever a moment in time. Like as Esther is sitting at her computer the other morning, dragging her computer out into her living room because she likes that great big table and she can spread out. And she had her back to the window, and all of a sudden she just felt an impulse that was so strong she couldn't deny it. She turned around to the biggest rainbow that she had seen out of those windows. And of course she got up and took a picture of it and then a video of it and considered everyone in the world that she might want to send it to. And then she just thought, I'll get back to what I was doing. As we were saying to her, the timing of you being there, it's not just a lucky thing. And you know, as you are a photographer, you know what the light is all about. You know what the endless possibilities and convergences of magnificent things are. Sometimes we don't think that you know, even though you might have a moment in time where you go, oh, wow, or oh, wow, or ooh, 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 ooh. You don't realize the momentum that has led up to that moment in time. Like you were talking about all the years that you've been interacting with us and all of the years you're thanking us and then thanking Esther. all of the things that you have been doing. Everything has caused the momentum of this moment in time. And we want you to know how perfectly placed you always are. There is never anything that is random. There's never anything that is just lucky or chance. It is you being answered constantly. And that's what nature has been doing too. That's why nature is as it is. It's a collective consciousness that is just continuing to unfold and to co-create. And so it's the co-creation part of it that you want to talk about. It's the rendezvousing of it that you want to talk about. And we do too. So let's let our rampage be about that. So this planet's been around for a long time. Longer than you remember. And all of it exists, and all of it springs forth from the pure positive energy of non-physical thought. And so there isn't anything about it that is not continuing to become. And there is nothing about it that can or ever will stand still. And it's impossible for you to comprehend the wholeness of it. And it was never your intention to come and comprehend or even photograph, to understand, even to contemplate the wholeness of anything. But it is your powerful intention to be in this physical body focused and looking for something that resonates with the source, with the whole of who you are. And when you're doing that, that's when you have those beautiful moments in time where everything around you is not knocking itself out because it's the most natural thing in the world, but literally becoming a culmination of what your inner being is asking for on your behalf. And the timing of you thinking of it just now is your knowing that you're in alignment with your source and that your source is calling you to something particularly poignant just for you. This conversation is calling forth from us an explanation of your deservability. That's what it really is, of your worthiness, of your ability to rendezvous with the beauty and the nice and the loving, and to realize that you're not just a witness to it, you are a creator of it. You are part of the reason that it exists as it exists. So we have to say to you, and we mean this in every way you could possibly understand it, there is no place that we all would rather be than focused with you all on your planet of creation. In other words, we've been there every step of the way with you, but we don't spend any time thinking about what it was, and we spend no time thinking about where it's going. We just spend all of our time appreciating through you, through your physical senses, what is here, the beauty of all of this, the harmony of all of this, the promise of all of this, the moreness of all of this, the basis of creation of all of this. It looks good to us, and we like it when it looks good to you. Even more, we like it when it feels good to you. And when it feels good to you, it's also when it looks best to you. Because when it feels good to you, that's when you're in harmony with all of us. And you are literally, friends, pioneers, creators on planet Earth. You are literally seeing this beautiful place of yours through the eyes of Source. This sets us up to say something that we really like to say to you as often as we can. We never stop being with you or looking through you at whatever you are about. You are never having an experience or an encounter or a situation. You're never asking a question or having a pondering or a wondering that we are all not right there with you. And if it feels wonderful to you, then you're tuned in to us. If it feels lonely or if you feel fearful, then you've got some tuning to do. We like someone who tunes through the lens of a camera because you learn how to focus. You learn how to choose, and you learn how to point, and you learn how to adjust and tune. You know the feeling that you're looking for. Don't you just love it when something that you didn't know was there? Or don't you just love it when you get all pointed up at something and something that wasn't there comes there? Don't you like the summoning power of your own camera? That's really what we want you to hear. We want you to feel the summoning quality of your own point of attraction, of your own desire to see it, and expectation to find it. Yeah, really good.
Love what you've said.
Yeah.
And one other accent is sometimes there are images that I take that are viewed by hundreds or thousands or perhaps millions.
Yeah.
And it seems as though I'm pulling in the appreciation not only of myself, but anybody who's ever seen it before. And I think at one time...
Oh, for sure, that's all part of that momentum.
Referred to.
Yes, to all of that. But even more than that, you are the vessel through which their summoning is happening. It's not unlike what's happening here being called through Esther. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, really good. Now what? Second row, right there. Yeah. Wait, we meant third row, fourth row. Or was it 10th row, really? When they're that happy, it's scary.
Hi.
Yeah.
We missed you.
Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah.
So since 2016, we have been coming to San Francisco, and we stay at the Westin across the street. And I had this impulse to come and visit with Abraham again. We seen you in Long Beach. And I thought, oh, this would feel so good.
Yeah.
And when I looked at the address, you were across the street.
Yeah.
And when I was walking this morning, I was like, this is exactly where Abraham is. It's so beautiful here. Of course they'd be here.
Well, we've said you call us in.
Yes. So
what's new since last we spoke?
So I wanted to talk to you about, I really wanted to play, but I wanted to talk to you about basically dimensions and how
Why?
I wanted to talk to you about dimensions because I feel like my life has changed so much.
Yes,
and
but why do you want to talk about dimensions?
Because I want to know I want to know more about how it works.
Why?
I want to know more about how it works because...
We just want to know how badly you want it. And how serious you are about it, because it's usually a very frivolous conversation, because it's not something that you can really, in other words, you were born into this time and space because of the momentum of everything that had come before. As our friend was just saying, it was a particularly wonderful place for you to focus. So are you wanting to know about other dimensions, or are you wanting to be a more deliberate, excellent focuser within the dimension that you've chosen to create within?
Yes.
That was really a leading question.
Yes, I want that. I want to know how to milk it.
We don't even want you to know about what anybody else is doing with their mind in any particular time. We don't even want you to dilute your focus by wondering why somebody else is doing the stupid thing they're doing or the wonderful thing they're doing. We want you to feel empowered within your ability to perceive, and we want you to perceive things into existence in this dimension. And that takes living some life, making some choices, launching some rockets of desire, raising the unwanted end of the stick, which raised the wanted end of the stick, knowing that your inner being is focused on the wanted end, knowing that your inner being sees it fully, knowing that it is vibrationally underway. Now, maybe that's another dimension. Maybe what's happening in the vibrational world could be called a dimension where things are going on your behalf that you can't see or translate through your physical senses. You can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it, but it still is of this dimension. But we're not wanting to guide you to other dimensions. We're wanting to help you to discover the tools you have to understand the dimension in which you are focused. Because there's a lot more going on here than what you can see or hear or smell or taste or touch. In fact, most of what you are about, you've set forth. It's in motion. It's in the gestation stages. It's in the stage of becoming. But because you can't see it, you doubt it. And then because you are doubting it, you're not in the dimension where it is. You're not setting yourself up with expectation of what you're going to see. So therefore, you don't call it into you. You set it in motion towards you, but you often don't call it to you because it's not obvious enough for you. And then you want to talk about other dimensions. Because it's curious or maybe fun, where what you really want to do is become an expert of understanding how this time and space works and the laws of the universe that apply here, and how you can be a magnificent master manifester here.
So how do you, I love when you talk about the now, focus on the now, not focusing on, you said that earlier, not focusing on what was or what is to come, but on the now. So in whatever dimension you're in, how do you stay present and stay focused on your becoming and what is happening presently now?
Well, there is a lot that you just said that we have to clean up.
Okay.
Because we are encouraging you to look forward into what is becoming. But it's not like a mystery because you've asked for every bit of it. So it's not like just nebulously not focusing. We're asking you to think about the things that you desire and bring yourself to a place of expecting them to come. We talked about this every chance we get. Jerry had a tool that he used. He was counseling people financially. And they were, in those days, it was a long time ago, talking about goals all the time, goals. And he would say, put your basket out there far enough that when you hit it, it's going to excite you. Basketball basket or whatever basket it is. For Esther, it's the waste basket. She just loves it. She throws anything and everything at it all the time. She has waste baskets that have lids on them. She takes all the lids off. She likes to toss things. Put your basket out there far enough that when you hit it, it will excite you because you did good by focusing, but not so far out that you don't think you can. It's that expectation. Because expectation is the power of your getting what you want when you want it. When you have a desire for something and a belief that doesn't match it, that's not expectation. That's doubt. And so it's about managing where you place your basket. It's like in the realm of everything that a person could want. In the realm of everything that you could want, whether it's relationships or financial well-being, lifestyle, material objects, states of being, physical states of being, no matter what it is that you want. If you could realize, we so want you to hear that like our first conversation, you have put together a world for yourself that is in the process of gathering all of the cooperative components. In fact, we can say to you all that so far, everything that you've asked for, from your knowing what you don't want, and therefore asking for what you do want, or from your knowing what you do want and just asking outright for it, everything that you've asked for, all of the cooperative components already have been gathered. Now, we'll acknowledge a little other dimensionality in that because it's in a vibrational state of being, but it is yours. And your inner being, the you of you, the you, that part of you is focused upon that and will not deviate from it, will not see its absence and therefore feel the lack that you feel when you see its absence. Will always be looking at and therefore attracting the cooperative components. And so all of the work is done, friends. We don't want this to feel so far out for you that you think we're in la-la land. This is the way the universe works. You did step 1 by sifting and sorting and asking. Your inner being, all of us have done step 2 by knowing what you've asked for, by looking at it in an undivided way. Law of attraction responding to our looking at what you're asking for. The cooperative components have all been gathered. Everything's been lined up for you. The question is, are you a cooperative component to your own asking? And the answer to that is often no. Often you want it, but you're more focused upon its absence than on its presence. That's why we want you to utilize your guidance system so that you can call yourself or allow yourself to be called by the law of attraction there. What do you think makes you point your questions at us in this way about dimension? Why is that interesting to you?
It's interesting to me from two sides. One, I feel like I wanted to ask you about just how drastically my life has changed from being young.
Don't try to dodge this question. What makes you want to talk about something that you don't understand, something that's almost impossible to understand? What makes you want to focus outside of where you are?
I wanted clarity on how my life has progressed and how I believe it's going to continue to progress. And I believe
But what we're getting at, we don't want to be hard on you.
Okay.
But this is not hard, friends. You said, I'll go and I'll choose. And we said, we'll keep an eye on what you've chosen. And when you take your eye off of what you've chosen, you won't feel good. And you say, oh, well, I'd like to talk about other dimensions. And we say, oh, we thought you'd like to talk about why you're here. What made you go to all of the trouble of being born into a physical environment? What got you to the place of feeling inspired by things? What is making you ask for? There's a rabbit in here somewhere. What's making you ask for what you're asking for? And so, why are you asking about things that are vague instead of things that are specific to your asking? That's really what we want to know. Why are you avoiding the obvious, I want my life to be improved in this way and in this way and this way, by talking about dimensions? You sort of get what we're getting at? And we know you're a deliberate creator. That's why we ask you such a pointed question.
Yes. Let me find the answer to that.
You don't have one.
Yeah, I don't. There's no answer to that.
It has nothing to do with anything.
So then maybe the question is, what I asked is just how do I focus more on the now, which you answered? How do I get more tuned in?
So since you all came here, this is what you said. You said, I'll look around at where I am and I'll notice the things that are already existing that I want to be part of my life. And as I move through life, I'll figure out things that really aren't existing that I think would make life better. But you knew that you would gather all of that. You knew that if this time and place had the goods, the wherewithal to inspire within you a desire, you knew that the fullness of that desire could be realized. And so you said, I'll look around and I'll choose and I'll focus until it is a reality. That really is what you intended to do. I'll just look for it until I find it. I'll just look for it until I find it. Whatever it is, I'll just look for it until I find it. So what could be the only thing? What could be the only thing ever, when we get excited, Esther translates it into volume. What is the only thing ever that could prevent you from having something that you've decided that you want? You're looking at its opposite. You're not looking for it. You're saying, where is it? It's not here. I don't have it. That guy's got it. That guy's got it. That woman's got it. They've got it. I don't have it. So what are you looking at? You are looking at the absence of what you want. And what are you getting? The absence of what you want. Well, instead of doing that, could we talk about another dimension, please? No. You're in this dimension where you get to attract to you whatever you decide that you want. There's no one that's left out of that. There are no exceptions. Everybody gets what they want except these particular people or that particular person. The law of attraction is responding to everyone in exactly the same way. And so we really believe, and we're not making fun of you, we're appreciating you so much. That's why, once again, here you are in the hot seat. So many of you want to keep looking for more magic or more processes or another way. And we say, this is the way. Law of attraction is like the law of gravity. It is. And it's responding to you. And as you pay attention to the way you feel, you know whether you're in sync with what you're asking for or whether you're not. And there really is not another thing that you need to ever consider about fulfilling your reason for being here. You are creators. You've come to create.
When you're talking about us being the power, us being the creator, is there any difference between God, source, soul, Abraham?
Were you going to tie that in with the you that you started the sentence with?
Yeah.
You said, so when you talk about us being the creator, and then what is it you really mean to say about the God, soul, source? What are you asking?
I guess, is there any separation? Is there any distinction between those different, I know that they're just words, but because I agree with you that the power is like within you. You said you're powerful. We want you to know that you're the creator. You have the power. You're
the chooser, you're the asker, and you're the letter it in. Here you are where things manifest. That's why we give you the label of the creator of the things here where things manifest. And so is your question, is there a difference between what we're calling God or soul or inner being or Abraham?
Yes.
It's all part of this non-physical beingness that is continuing to evolve. But your inner being's in there. That's why we talk about you. When you allow yourself to align with all of that, then that's why you allow that empowerment. This is your stuff. You cannot be deprived by anyone else of anything. It's only by virtue of the attention that you're giving to something that anything comes to you. There is not a source of good and a source of evil any more than there is a source of light and a source of darkness. There's a source of goodness and light, and then you can focus on the absence of it and therefore deprive yourself of the presence of it. But there's no switch that you flip that causes an inky, misty darkness to come in and cover up the light. There is a switch that will resist the light. In fact, they're called resistors. And so, what do you think that question was all about?
I think I feel like I'm asking in all these questions for clarity of things. I feel like I jumble things up a lot, or I can.
We are appreciating your request for clarity, your desire for it. But the reason that we're picking on you a little bit here is, as we said in the beginning, you represent what a lot of people are wondering about. And what we're wondering about is why you all don't just get on with the business of hand of creating your own life experience here. In other words, why so much thought about other dimension and what's God doing? And is God and source, are all those things, do they mean the same thing? And we say, do they feel the same? Quite often we say, in fact, we said it today before you sat down, that inner being, we call it inner beings, what you might call God or source or soul. We like to call it inner being because it makes it more real to you, because that's the part of all of that you can consciously. It's not that you don't have direct access to what you want to call God. It's just that most of you don't believe that you have direct access to what you call God, because you put God outside of yourself in another dimension, in a place that's different from you, more worthy than you think that you are. And so as we speak to you about your inner being, and you're able to accept that non-physical part of you exists, and then you pay attention to how you feel as you are having this thought or that thought, and you connect the dots not just to the feeling, but what comes next. After a while, you get really good at understanding the importance of you and the extension of that which you want to call God that you are. We started to offer Esther Finding the Words. That goes a long way. That goes all the way to you allowing into your experience everything that you want. Why do you think it is? We're asking all of you, why do you think it is that any of you would not reach for something really magnificently wonderful, by your opinion, for yourself? Why do you think that you would settle for less than you really want? What do you think's the reason for that?
A lack of belief.
Lack of belief in what? Usually it's the lack of belief in myself to deserve it. It's that, sure, I believe that wonderful things can happen. I just don't believe that they can happen to me. And that's because you've spent so much of your life experience trying to figure out what's outside of you, instead of understanding that your inner being is inside of you, and that all of that is within you. It is you. And unless you're doing something to separate yourself from it, then wonderful things come to you because you are deserving of that. So we know we are the reason that you're schizophrenic on this subject. We understand that because when we first began flowing through Esther in this way, most of you had a sense of non-physical. You talked about God a lot in those days, or about what was non-physical. But there was a severe, for most of you, separation between what you thought of as that and what you thought of as yourself. And so we thought it was very important for you to not just understand who you were before you came into this body, but that who you were, that non-physical part of you still exists, even though you are in this body, and that there is a connection from that non-physical to you. Not just an interest, an absolute connection, a co-creation kind of thing going on. And that the agreement that you all made with your inner beings was, I will go, I will be the pioneer on the leading edge. I will explore and discover and decide. I will choose. I will feel what is right for me, the creator of my experience. You can't create in anybody else's experience. The creator of my experience. And your inner being says, that's exactly right. And as you choose, we will focus there. We've been through this already, but we want to tie it together in a stronger way. We will focus with you. In fact, we will focus so completely on it that any time, once you've chosen it, and you keep amending it and amending it and amending it and amending it and amending it, first they're mean to you, and then they're beating you up, and then they're depriving you of this. In other words, you're sending all kinds of rockets of desires off for the improvement in your life that you want. And your inner being is focusing on every one of them and gathering the cooperative components. And so your desires continue to evolve, and your inner being continues to keep up with the evolution of your becoming. But humans don't keep up with the evolution of their becoming. because you're out on the leading edge where you're continuing to become. And so we're wanting you to understand the way it all works so that you can get used to the feeling of there being something more that you've asked for that you're on your way to, so that you're moving forward with expectant eyes, looking for it, because those expectant eyes, then you see that, and then you see that which you want to take a photograph of, and then you see that, and then you see that, and then you see that. Then this part of what you want comes to you, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. As Esther is walking around the streets of this nation, really of the world, she is concerned at how many people she sees just looking down. People aren't looking up and engaging and wanting to play with one another in the way that Esther wants to play with everybody. It's like they're withdrawn because they don't know what engagement is. They don't know what co-creation is. And if they're not willing or even wanting to engage with one another, then what's the possibility of them understanding the engagement with their inner being? And so people are sort of withering and wilting as they deprive themselves of the life force that is reaching to them, but they are not allowing it in because they are not focused upon who they are and why they're here. They're not feeling important enough to let the stuff that they want come. They can let good stuff come to other people. And so that's why we're asking you these pointed questions. What is it that makes you not want to believe that you get to be or do or have whatever it is that you're wanting? We can tell you what it is. It's having looked around and seen that you haven't always gotten it all, or even most of it. In other words, you let what is be the lens through which you expect. And we want you to feel for the lens that your inner being expects. I'm just going to ask all of you, do you know the feeling of hopeful? Do you?
Yes.
Does it stir you just a little bit? Do you remember hoping for something? And do you know the feeling of doubt? Big difference in the way they feel. Do you know the feeling of expectation? Like, can you feel the power in that? And all of these emotions, they are only one thing. These feelings that you have, all they are is the degree to which you are aligned with what and who and how your inner being is in any moment in time. And so discovering and playing with that feeling. Esther did something today, and afterward, she really felt glad for the hissy fit she'd thrown. She's been flying Southwest Airlines, and they're in a bit of upheaval, and so it's not normal, and it's all right, but it could be so much better. So as she got thinking about it, and how different it is now, and how whoever's making the decisions has not been a passenger. And so she just wanted to ask someone, why am I not in priority boarding group like I am accustomed to being? And afterward, she thought, this is guidance. This is guidance saying, Esther, you've just been for the last 15 minutes in the act of not letting the good stuff in. You just turned on the deprive me of good stuff button. Nobody else did it. It isn't about what anybody else is doing. It's just you chose to look at this situation in a way where you cannot get what you want about this or about anything else. And so we really want you to contemplate that just for a little bit, because when you find something silly like this was, or something serious like so many things seem to be, and you use it as your object of attention, and you stay there long enough that you get really feeling out there on the bleeding edge, disconnected from the fun and the clarity and the good stuff that is usual for you. When you recognize that your guidance system is right there saying, deprivation mode, disallowing mode, not letting the good stuff mode in, and you understand that you hold the key to that, and that nothing has to change in order for you to turn that key the other way. And for Esther, it was an even stronger epiphany. It was that it's not just this silly thing. It's anything, no matter how silly or how big it looks. So we want to bring it back around to what we were talking in that other dimensional conversation about your inner being. Do you know why you could ever feel negative emotion? The only reason that you can even feel negative emotion at all is because you're focused differently than your inner being. And so the very fact that you're feeling negative emotion means that your inner being has its eye on what you said you want, and you don't. That's all. Your inner being has It's I on what you said you want and all the combinations that you've been adding to it, and you don't right now. And that's as big and as bad and as awful as it gets. It's not bigger than that, no matter what the subject is. That's what it is. Do you feel enlivened about your guidance system, or has this conversation just been boring to you? Would you rather talk about things that you can't do anything about, like other dimensions? Or would you like to talk about things that you can't do anything about, like Southwest Airlines guidelines or their new decisions? Would you like to talk about that as if you could do something about it? As if you're complaining? I'll write letters. I'll tell my friends. I've got 2 million people on YouTube. I'll tell them. And I will be the one exception in all of the universe to focus on what I don't want and get what I do want. So you got a lot more than you thought you were asking for, but
Yes, I did.
enough for you?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry. This is so nice.
What's up?
I want to talk about.
Now, after everything that we've talked about,
This is happy. This is good. This is good.
we're not asking you to only talk about happy things. We're asking you to talk about something that you care about, that you can do something about.
I want to talk about decision making. When you were talking about,
Do you realize from what we said before that you've made the decisions and that the vortex is the holder of them?
yes,
So do you believe that the decisions have been made?
yes,
So you don't want to talk about decision making. You want to talk about decision letting in.
decision letting inning.
I want to talk about decision
Yes.
allowing. I want to talk about the allowing of my decisions.
Yes,
So what's the predominant factor in the letting in of the decision? Find a way of putting your basket where it feels good.
that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that.
only you can do that. So
My brother just got out of the hot seat, and he's very deliberate. He's really good at being specific about what he wants. I'm very.
we don't find that to be true at all.
I know. He wasn't doing it today. I don't know what he was doing today. It was different. But he's always very deliberate. He's the reason he told me that he wanted to come here for my birthday. And I was like, I want to go to Abraham, but I don't want to do it for my birthday. My birthday's on Monday. And so I said, of course I would want to come. And once I let it go, everything just flowed to me. And I feel like when I'm just allowing the goodness to roll in, I get all these things out of my vortex, but I'm not being specific. When I get specific.
So for a long time, we've been talking to you all about you put it over there and then you don't stress over it and you're more likely to let it in. Or you focus on it in a way that lets it in. That's what placing your basket is all about. Placing your basket in just the right place. You see, it seems to most everybody that the best thing is to put your basket really far out, because it seems like really far out is where all the good stuff is. That's where the hard stuff is. That's where the billions of dollars are. That's where the miraculous healings are, really far out there, far out there. That's not the point of this conversation at all. It doesn't matter how big or small in comparison to anyone else your desires are. They are your desires, and they are completely achievable. All you got to do is find the sweet spot of allowing. Now, the way this conversation started, we like it so very, 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 very much, because you said, I want to talk about decision making, and we were able, and you were all able to understand it completely. Decision making has already happened. We're talking about decision letting in. We're talking about decision allowing. So step one happened. You sifted and sorted and asked. Step two happened. It's over there in the vortex. The cooperative components have already been gathered. What do I do? What's step three? Step three is placing the basket in a place that feels good to me. That's all. A place that I believe, a place that I want. Not so far out there that I doubt it. Not a comparative place where I compare myself to somebody else who I think does way better than I do. A place that feels good to me. So that requires making some statements and finding out where they fit on this scale. So
I feel like when I'm making,
so what's the desire?
when I'm, say it again,
What is the desire?
the desire. Deliberate creation.
So you've already
I want what I want.
you're so much like your brother. See, that's like wanting another dimension. In other words, I want what I want, but you can't even begin to place your basket until you're talking about something specific that you're trying to figure out how you feel about it.
I start to wobble when I start talking about specifics.
Well, that's the whole point. The wobble means the basket's not in the right place. The wobble is I'm asking for something that I don't believe. Or I'm not asking for something big enough so it doesn't excite me. That's what the wobble is. Esther's been playing this game with all kinds of things since we started talking about the deliberateness of placing a basket. We've been calling it the art of allowing. It's the art of getting your basket in the right place for you today. So I've done step 1 and Source's done step 2. So my step 3 is getting myself in a place where I don't block it. That's what placing the basket is. Anything that would come up. So the other day, Esther's moved into a new building and it's moderately dysfunctional. Internet goes down. One day the elevator didn't work at all. One day they couldn't get out of the parking garage. Things that are sort of essential to living in a building. And Esther thought, I know that I've attracted this, and I know why, because I ran kicking and screaming from a previous building that had some of this dysfunction, and now this building's got it on steroids. So she understands that she moved right into what she'd been pushing against for the year before. She understands all of this. So one day she gets a notice that the elevator doesn't work. So use the stairs. No, I don't want to use the stairs. And so Esther began trying to place her basket. And so she thought, stupid building. She could feel where that basket was. And then she thought, there's really no place I have to go today. I don't have to leave this building. I have everything that I need here, and I have plenty that I want to do. And so that felt pretty good. She didn't come upon that instantly, but she came upon it presently after a little while. So she sat there and she felt really good. And then she thought, it said that the elevator would go down to the first floor, but you just then couldn't get up again, or you couldn't go to the parking garage. Anything that needed the fob, the elevator wouldn't work. And so now Esther's thinking, no problem, I don't need to go. And so she's sitting there doing her things and she gets this thought. Now, where do you think the thought comes from when you're not resisting? It comes from your vortex. It comes from your wanting. So she has this thought. Well, if the elevator is working, the only part of it that isn't working is the fob part. Why don't they just disconnect the fob part so that anybody can just get on the elevator and push a button and go where they want to go? What's more priority, security in the building or taking the stairs? And Esther thought, they should just unplug that. That felt really good to Esther. And then Esther thought, if I was down there, I'd find the thing to unplug. Can't be that complicated. And then she thought, I know someone who would know about that. He's my IT TV guy in this city. So she called Justin and she says, I have something I want to run by you. And so she told him about the elevator. And she said, there must be something that can be unplugged. And he said, there is. And if I were standing in the room, I could reach out and do it. And Esther said, there's a room? And he said, yes, there's a room. And in most places, it's very close to the elevators behind. It's probably in the back hallway. And I'm getting on an airplane in 15 minutes, but if you can get somebody in there and I can get on the phone with them, I can talk them through it. And Esther said, I don't know if I can reach anybody that fast. And she couldn't. But then that very morning, an electrician had climbed up the steps to change the light switch in the studio so that it won't turn on and off at random. Esther met him for the first time, really liked him, and now she has his number. So she called him. Hello, remember me? You were here a few hours ago, and the elevator isn't working, and I've been led to believe that there is a room somewhere that has a something somewhere that if it is unplugged, then the elevator would begin working again. And he said, I know where that room is. And Esther said, I thought you might. Can you go to it? And he said, yes. And then in about 10 minutes, she gets a text, I fixed the elevator. Now, does Esther want to take credit for fixing the elevator? Yes. No. It's a demonstration of putting her basket in a place that felt better, where what she really wanted to do was writhe in discomfort of the dysfunction of the building. But she'd been playing that game with us for a few days, and so she got herself into a good feeling place, and then an idea came, and then another idea came, and then another idea came, and then another idea came. And for sure, that was the immediate path to getting the thing running on that day. In other words, there isn't anything that you can't figure out because you have a connection, brother, to infinite intelligence. You have a connection to those who know everything, know where everything is in relationship to where you are. There's nothing that's not available to you. You just have to put your basket in the place that lets the ideas for the next and 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 the next come. See how it works?
Okay, sorry, thank you. How do I release anger and resentment against...
Well.
Yes.
Anger and resentment is because you're looking at something in a way that your inner being is not. So you're looking for the way your inner being looks at it, or you're looking at things that your inner being looks at that doesn't feel like that, or you're looking for things that you can look at that don't feel like that. You cannot look in opposition to something you want and feel other than that. When you really, really, really want something and you're focused in opposition, it feels really, really, really terrible. If you want it a little and you're focused in opposition, it feels a little terrible. If you want it a lot and you're focused in opposition, it feels a lot terrible. So it really is about caring about how you feel more than anything else. There isn't anything that anybody wants that is for any reason that they think they would feel better if they had it. And so what is it that you want to have? Feeling better.
How do I change my perspective?
As you're sitting here now, you want to tell us the story. But you know that we're not going to go there with you because your inner being won't go there with you. That's why it feels so bad to you when you go there. If your inner being would join you in that story, you wouldn't feel terrible. But your inner being will not give up its alignment to source energy to commiserate with you on something that your inner being knows you do not want. Your inner being will not give up alignment to commiserate. Your mother will.
That's so accurate.
Your best friend will, or you'll dump them. You're not there for me. Where do you want me to be? I want you to feel as bad as I do about this. Okay, I'll come with you because I don't want you to dump me.
I want to feel better.
Yeah.
I want to accept my daughter's decision. I want to love her. I want to release my anger at a decision that she made. I want to love her and accept her. But I don't want to be hurt anymore by our decision.
Just going to step back just a little bit and talk about everyone all at the same time. Esther wants with all of her heart a tissue box that isn't hard to get the tissue out of. She wants this so much that she's willing to throw that away. Even though it looks better, this is better. It's like that. It's not more serious than that either.
Okay.
So what happens? We can explain this to you in a way that'll make it easier for you. You use the word accept. We like that word. What almost everybody does is you've been trained to believe that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. That's what rules are about. That's what laws are about. It's what morality is about. It's what most religions are about. That there are things that are right and there are things that are wrong. But it turns out that which you call God must not love anybody because everything was intended. In other words, all kinds of people coming with all kinds of different beliefs and decisions about all kinds of things. Every subject that you think of, there's a great deal of diversity and contrast in the way consciousness even came into this experience intending to live. The diversity on this planet is enormous. And when you step back and look at the world, it must just knock you over. If you can live in a tight little tiny place where this little handful of people can be controlled, then you could come to believe that there is a right way to do everything, but it's not like that at all. There's not a right and a wrong. There is a desired and a held in place by your inner being, and then there's you coming into harmony with what you desire. Now, when we talk like this, sometimes people freak out because they think that what we're teaching is that you can be just a terrible, terrible person and your inner being will help you out. Abraham, that's what I thought you just said. I want that, and my inner being's on my side, so my inner being's going to help me. Except that your inner being is pure love. Your inner being is pure positive energy. Your inner being has been flowing in the direction that and would not give that up for anything. So you never need to worry about being in harmony with your inner being and depriving yourself of anything that you've considered to be that wonderful non-physical intention. That just cannot be. So when you are able to let loose of the rightness and wrongness of something, and instead of wanting to be right, you want to be in alignment. It's like the difference between having an opinion about something and an intention about something. And so we know sometimes things have been taught to you and drilled into you, and you've summoned them and you've proved them to yourself for such a long time that any deviation from that feels like it's wrong-headed. But we want to suggest to you that it's not wrong-headed, it's just different-headed. It's just different-headed.
I feel like a failure as a mother.
Because you couldn't defy the entire universe and do all of the vibrating and all of the attracting for another person? No one can do that. And all of these mothers that you are wanting to tout as the ones that did it right are the ones that used all of their effort to control the behavior of another and still lost every single time.
I could never find a way for her to like herself, to love herself.
Well,
I feel like that was my job as a mother, to help her love herself and appreciate herself.
we're really good at this, and we've failed 3 times here today. It's our life's work, and we're older than anything you know. And we can't get people to budge from their habits of thought. It's not the easiest thing to do. And you know why? It's not our work, and it's not your work either. Everyone comes to explore and to decide and to show themselves. And sometimes people have to reemerge into non-physical to find what they're looking for, because that's where it is. What we're talking about all day, every day, is how you can find it without croaking, how you can find it without just giving up on everything. Because when you reemerge into non-physical, you will find it, you see. But it's not something that another person can assign to you or find for you. It's something that you have to find yourself.
Is there anything that I can do to help her solve her medical issues that she has experienced for several years?
You can root for her and stop feeling guilty. You can't help her at all when you feel guilty. You cannot help her at all when you feel like a failure. When you feel like a failure and you shine your attention on something, you just screw it up. Whatever you're looking at, when you feel like that, you just screw up there. You don't have that much power. You don't have the power to attract for another. You don't have the power to attract for another. You have the ability to observe and hurt in what you observe. But this is the thing that we're talking about all day, every day, that anyone will listen to us. If all you can do is observe, sloppily observe the squeakiest wheel and suffer over it, that's not deliberate creation. Deliberate creation is observing a squeaky wheel and not liking the sound of it or the feel of it, and then deciding you're going to observe something different and see how that feels, and observe something different and see how that feels. And every single person, whether it's a daughter or a friend or a husband, it doesn't matter who it is, every single person is like an entire universe with a plethora of aspects that you could focus upon. And all you have to do is find any one that your inner being is agreeing with. Now, your inner being agrees with all the wonderfulness of this person, but you don't agree with all of the aspects, but there are some that you agree with. So if you could find some harmony with your inner being about this subject, you would feel ease. It's just when you find the thing that is the biggest discord that you can't. The best thing about the work that we do is that there's not a shred of evidence to the contrary of it. The best thing about teaching about law of attraction, about teaching about focus, is that the law of attraction will bring you the evidence once you get hold of the thought. Your basket's shifted already. Can you feel it? Your basket has shifted already as we've ranted and raved up here and carried on. You feel different than you did when you sat down. Not a lot different, but different enough that different things will come into your consciousness, into your awareness. The most productive, effective phrase that Esther has found for us in this conversation is one that you are all familiar with: connect the dots. Everybody kind of knows what that means. Connect the dots and see where they lead. So when you have a feeling and you connect the dots and see where it leads, have you ever had a day where everything just went wrong? It's because you were the attractor of all the stuff. And the universe can only give you what you're allowing in. And if you're in a really bad mood, what you're allowing in sucks. Traffic's bad, the food's bad, the transportation is bad, the flight's delayed, this is bad, that's bad, that person said a red thing, that person did another thing, the dog pooped right where you stepped. The law of attraction is so accurate in giving you what you feel that as you connect those dots, then you say, oh, I get that. I felt this and I attracted that. Now, the first thing that you attract, the first manifestation, is an emotion. But then there's more. And so as you are able to change the subject and notice your point of attraction, or shift the way you feel within a subject, then everything just gets better and better and better and better and better and better. Impossible relationships become good friendships again. Things that you thought were lost forever are not. Anything, there's not a subject that is not repairable. There isn't anything that you can't move into something that feels better for you, that manifests better for you. Is it easy? It's simple. Is it easy? It's simple. Is it easy? Not if it's hard to understand. It's simple to understand. So if you can accept these premises. Now, this is the hard part because you don't know about us. We could be the devil leading you into the worst possible place ever. You get everything you want. You're supposed to have everything that you want. We understand how this could be a frightening conversation for someone that isn't convinced in the well-being of this conversation. You have to show it to yourself. You have to think a thought and feel how that thought feels. You have to remember something and feel the overwhelming sensation, the wonderful feeling. And then you have to trust yourself enough to know that if it feels good, it is good. And if it doesn't feel good, it isn't good. And if it doesn't feel good, your inner being is not thinking the same thought that you're thinking. Oh, your inner being is looking right where you're looking. But when you feel terrible, like you've been describing, it's because your inner being feels completely opposite of that. So you blame yourself, your inner being does not. You think you're a terrible mother, your inner being knows different. The worse you feel, the better it is. Because the clearer it is. When you get on the wavelength with your inner being, who is source energy, you'll feel wonderful. So you got to feel around with your basket till you find a place to put that. Till you let yourself be the glorious person that your inner being knows yourself to be. Till you stop trying to blame yourself or your daughter or anybody. Nobody is attracting on behalf of anybody else. It looks like it. You see people who are bullies and who are big and who have the power to do this and that. And you say, oh, they're strong and I'm weak and they're doing bad things to a lot of people or to anyone. And we say, we know it looks that way because that's the way your misunderstanding goes. But it is not how it is. There are people who thrive in the worst of times. And there are people who suffer in the best of times. It's all a personal and an inside job. And you can just feel as bad as you want to feel. That's a strange way to say it. You can just feel as bad as you are disciplined to focus, or you can feel as good as you are disciplined to focus. People quite often will talk to us about feeling unworthy and wanting to feel better about themselves. And we say, you've been harder on yourself than the whole of everyone else put together. hard to look at yourself and appreciate yourself when you've been practicing otherwise. But if you could appreciate that puppy, Teddy runs through Esther's building. Teddy's waiting for its mother to look away so she can snatch Teddy. Not really, but Teddy. You just can't see Teddy without feeling happy. Because Teddy's happy. And Teddy likes you. Teddy will come over and just look right at you. If you get down close enough, and if you don't, Teddy will stand up on your knees. Teddy will beg you to pick him up so that he can look right into your face and love you. Teddy. So easy to feel good when Teddy is the object of attention, you see. Because it's easy for me, human me, to feel about Teddy the way Source feels about Teddy. Because Teddy has not wronged me yet. And so you just have to decide that you want to feel good. And that powerful desire to feel good will lead you to harmony with your inner being. And that will lead you to the self-love that you're looking for. That's the root. Because you can't find harmony with your inner being without finding love for yourself. Because your inner being can't find anything but love for you. Yeah?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. More than any conversation or workshop that we've had before, this is our favorite because more energy shifted, more understanding of how it works happened than ever before. Because we didn't keep changing the subject and dabble all around the edges. We got right to the heart of what matters. And the only thing that matters is how you feel. And you have control about how you feel. You have control about how you feel. You just got to practice it until you believe it. Wonderful things are on the doorstep for you, all kinds of wonderful things. And as far as you've thought it out to be, it's much further than that it's going to go. You got a really good program, you're a really good teacher, you're a really good communicator, you're lovely to be with, and wonderful, 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 wonderful things are happening for you, but you didn't hear it here. That's your vortex telling you. That's your vortex telling you. Your vortex wants you. Do you want your vortex? Yes. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. There's great love here for you. And for now, we are complete. So good. I loved it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.